Hey guys, and welcome to Ruby scripting tutorial number 16. Today we are going to be going over building your own battle system. To be specific, I'm going to try to build a Chrono Trigger based or similar battle system. Now the biggest obstacle that we have with Chrono Trigger is the fact that you fight on the map. Traditionally, you're always pulled away from that scene into an alternate one in order to perform your actual battle sequence. But with Chrono Trigger, every battle is actually a planned battle, effectively. The beauty of that, though, is that it means that we're always going to have a certain expectation of common variables about, such as that you're always going to have a couple of events nearby that have already been killed, etc., so on. So what we'll probably do is start by constructing our battle scene, because we've already got characters and they're already on the map, so all they need to do is pull their swords and get into their action, right? So we'll go through a bit of setting all of that up, and so hopefully you'll be able to learn something from this. Now just so you know, I didn't actually do any pre-work on this, so I might be fumbling around a bit. So anyways, let's go ahead and hop into it. Also, if you've noticed down here in the bottom right hand corner, I have now implemented the magnifier, since there's been a lot of people who have said that they've had a little bit of trouble reading the what I've been typing and whatnot, even though it's in full 1080p for the output. But anyway, so hopefully this should take care of that in allowing you to see a little bit more of what I'm doing as I'm doing it. So let's go ahead and get started. So here we have our project that we had previously started, and we've already got the character out here on the map, etc. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up a trigger. We're going to set up, say, an enemy 2 and say enemy 3. And let's go ahead and give them pictures. Evil monsters. There we are. So we'll just go ahead and give him 3 imps to fight here. Okay, and then when we step on this location here, then it is going to automatically trigger. So on player touch, it is going to trigger a battle. So we are going to say battle processing, and then let's see if we've got one down here for, I guess it's probably demon, but you know what, we're just going to actually go with spider, even though basically what I'm going to be looking at here is the fact that when you step on this here, it's going to run that, and then once it completes that, it's going to erase itself, so that they don't get attacked again. Now the thing is that these pictures here are going to be entirely dependent upon what you assigned to them. So we can actually say, we'll just add on a thing checking for the graphic name, and then it'll just look for like an underscore attack or underscore approach or something along those lines, so that you can technically animate the system. So that's kind of what I'm thinking what we'll do. So just assign them a name such as enemy, and then let's get into the scripting. So battle processing is going to initially run this process here, which is going to create a new scene. It's going to run battle message, create the battlers, create the info viewport, and then go through the process of actually doing the battle. But because we're going to do all of this on the map, it's going to be entirely different. So what we need to do is we actually need to look at what does start battle processing do in the interpreter, so that we can determine how we need to adjust that to meet our needs. So let's look at the game interpreter here, and then just search out battle, because I'm sure there's not more than a couple entries in there for it. Iterate battler, change battle background, battle processing. Here we are. command 301. So I'm just going to copy that, add the word def in front of it, and then we'll go ahead and open that up. Alright, so if you're already in battle, then ignore it. Set the troop variable, and then if the troop is not equal to nil, so as long as it is a valid enemy group, then set up that group, set up those variables, and then battle processing, procedure, branch, indent, and next scene is battle. So this here is actually probably what we want to remove, because we don't want to leave the scene. So what we're going to probably do is actually just catch it during the scene transfer stuff and just say, are you in battle? And then do the battle processing directly on the map itself. The trick is, though, is that this here is going to be what is going to happen after. Okay, so our battle processing here, let's go ahead and cancel this. If we come back here to the battle processing, so here we've got our two options. We got can escape, even with lose, and that's it. I'm assuming that this branch, indent, etc. is going to be just saying, by the way, when you get finished, do the next action. That's my guess. I guess I should probably look into that a little bit closer, but let's go ahead and go look at that real quick just to see what is in there. Call result, which is just to set a flag usually, and then it sets it to nil. Yeah, nothing really much in there, so I don't think it'll really be that big of a deal. Alrighty, so what we're going to do is we're going to come back down here. We're going to create a new script section, and in this new script section we're going to look and we're going to add a new map entry to force you to stay on the map. So what we're going to do is find here our update scene change. We're just going to copy that, or you know what, let's actually just change call battle. That'll probably be easier, which is right here. Okay, which is part of scene map, which is less than scene base. So that's what we're going to put over here. Class scene map less than scene base. We're going to replace this method. So here we're going to keep this stuff in here. Straighten, store the music, stop the current music and background sounds, start the battle music, set the next scene, and then start this. So what we're going to do is just say, comment out that line. And you know what, let's actually do it this way. Now, let's see, how are we going to do this? Probably what we want to do is we want to set a variable, so this here becomes our update routine, essentially, is what I'm looking at. So what happens is that all the sprites and all of that update throughout each of the frames, what happens is that when we say sprite set update, it just updates all the background, the map, the players, etc. Graphics update is to update the screen, player, etc. All of that I'm not really so worried about, but what I want to achieve out of this is the fact that we're going to create a mini scene, so a scene within the map, and that's how we achieve the ability to work within it. So what we're going to do is we're going to set a flag here. So we're going to say in battle. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to say if in battle is equal to nil, then do all of that, and else then we are going to, and we need to set it right there so that the next time it updates it does set it. Okay, and then inside of here is where we're going to do our update battle routine. And then from there, we can start determining exactly what we're going to do from here on out. So this becomes our new update method. Now the trick is, though, is that we need to set something back in the original update method as well to make sure that it doesn't update the game player so that they can do input. So what we need to do is make sure that the player can't just randomly move around when they want to, etc. So what we need to do is just verify that the update routine, it just does game player update. So if we go look at game player, which is right there, and look at update, then it just says look for those, move by input, and this one here just says if you're not moving and you are movable, then move. So we need to modify this move by input and add a if not in-game battle. That's probably the easiest thing to do. So here we just go and say class game player less than game character, move by input, and then we're going to alias this, alias move by input game player battle disable, move by input, and then inside of there we put that, and then we just put if game temp.in battle equals false. And I believe that is the, yep, that is what we're looking for, so we'll just close that off like that, and that is all you need, because otherwise it's going to return the move process, in which case you'd move, but if not, then it's on. So as long as you're outside of battle, essentially, you can move. Alright, so that takes care of the player not moving, so now what we need to do is set non-battle interactive events to stop updating. So we need to set a flag or something on them to freeze them all so that they don't continuously update unless you want them to. And so we need to determine a way for doing that. So what we want to do is probably go back through and scan each of the events that are within a certain radius of the actual battle. So what we're going to do is do a quick search of all of those, and those are stored in game map. So that's where all the events themselves are stored. And it's just called events, but I don't think they're exposed. Nope, they are. So we can access and read all the events. So game map.events will return all the events that are on the map. So we can use that. So game map.events. So for event in game map events, event dot, and we'll probably just go with its name, and then just check it for keywords. So the thing is, though, is that what keywords are we going to search for, what variables we're going to use for that, etc. So what we need to do is we need to store out, for example, enemies, actors, and what we'll do is we'll just put those there. And then what we need to do is we need to associate those IDs, or I'm sorry, those numbers to sorry guys, I'm trying to think of this as I go. So basically what we need to do is we know our actor is there and they're visible. The problem is that which actor are they? We don't know. All we know is that actor 1 is the leader. So if actor 1 is really ID 12, then we need to have something to translate that and tell us which actor that one really is. So what we're going to do is we're going to have an actor 2 ID, And so what this will do is this will correlate the event ID. So we'll make this one a hash. So we'll make it an event ID to actor ID, and this here will just be a list of them so that it's easier to update them. So now we can actually use part of the game interpreter. They have a method in there that allows you to get characters, I believe what they call it. Alright, and that one will return the event which is being executed, else it will find out which particular event. So we can actually use this method as part of this. Now the problem is though is that that's part of interpreter, and interpreter is separate from all the normal stuff there. So I don't think it's going to really matter. It's not going to save us all that much time in actually separating that, so let's just forgo that. Alright, so what are we going to be looking for in our events? We're going to be looking for actor, and we're going to be looking for enemy, and what else are we going to look for? Probably special. I don't know, just because it's something that you still want to update, and I guess maybe you could also throw in an additional I guess you could add neutrals so that you could have guest actors as well, and that will probably make this a lot easier. And now usually, as I said, these are usually planned battles, so what you might do is well, I'll keep that for later. Alright, so neutrals. Okay. So now we've got that, and we also need one to track specials. And so we say .include, and then for actor, for type in, we didn't assign that a name. Let's give that a name. List include type. You know what we probably ought to do is actually do this. Well, yeah, whatever. I'm making this more difficult than it needs to be. Alright, so anyways, list 0, which is going to be in this case actor. Okay, so we're going to search for list 0, and then if the event name includes that, then we're going to add the actor, or I'm sorry, the enemy to the actors list. And then we're then going to find out what the ID is for that actor. So we are going to say actor to ID, and then inside of this we are going to push or equal, we're going to use the event, let's use event ID, and then we're going to make that equal to, and that is going to be the actor ID. Now the actor ID is going to be delivered from the name. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the event.name.downcase so that it's all lowercase, and then we are going to subtract the name from it. Now I'm trying to actually remember how to do that because it's not something I do commonly. I guess we could do a split and then actually do the same thing and then take the second variable of that, although that's kind of a complex way of doing it. Maybe it's easier seen otherwise. Now I honestly can't remember whether or not you can actually just minus one from the other, but I know one way to find out because I use this method in my GTBS demo, but I don't have it out, although I probably got it in XP. Here we are. Let's just take a quick, sorry about the delay here. I kind of forgot what I was doing. And let's see here. It's going to be probably in here. And what we want to do is look. You know what? Actually, I know I did it in here for the actors. Create events. Event name. Acceptable type. Downcase include. Oh, it's just .delete. I knew it was simple. .delete, and then we delete the type. So here we just say remove that, and then we go ahead and that's it. Actually, we do that, we add the ID to it, and now we've got the ID of the actor. So if we look back here, this was just a battle event, and this was our player. So what we need to do is we need to have actor 1, which is where actor 1 will go. Actor 2 is where actor 2 will go, and actor 45, and that's where actor 45 will go. Kind of just so you get an idea of exactly what that is, because that's going to be the ID of the actor. Now the alternate though is that you can actually correspond that to the position in the game party. So instead of 45, you'd put actor 3, and they would be the third person in the party. So what you probably want to do is either define one method to say it's always going to be the actor position in the party, or it's always going to be the ID position overall. I would recommend the party position just because that generally makes it a little bit easier. So in which case this is not actor ID to ID, actor to ID, this is actor to index. So let's go ahead and fix that. And let's see, enemies to index. And so that way we can actually return the actual enemy based on their ID, on the event ID. And you know what? We will probably want to just do this for all of them. Hash, and then what we'll do is we'll just copy that, paste it, and replace this with specials. Not two S's, just one. Alright. So now we've got that one. So we need to now go back and say event.name.include, and then we do our list 1, and then we repeat the exact same thing, but say 1 was enemy, so this time we're going to push it to enemies, and then we're going to enemies to index event ID, and then we are going to make that equal to, don't mind that space, it shouldn't be there, and then that is going to be equal to the event.name.downcase.delete list 0 close bracket. Alright. Let me just pause this here, and I'm going to actually go and finish typing these ones out. Okay, so as you can see, now I've gone back and I've actually set the name search here for each one of those, and we can now go in and say that we appropriately signed each of the events into those, and a translation to get us to the actual ID or index of the actor, enemy, or special, or neutral. So now that we've got all of that set up, now the thing is though is that this is all part of the battle setup. So what we're going to do is we're going to say setup battle if battle setup, if not battle setup. Okay, and let's just say if battle setup is equal to nil. That's probably easier. and then we'll create a new one here called setup battle, and then we'll paste everything inside of there, and then as part of that we're going to say battle setup equals true. Okay, so now we've got the actors and so on assigned as to know whom they are. Now the trick is to actually make them battlers, make them everyone actually want to go and perform each of their attacks. Now the good news is that in Chrono Trigger you've always been able to attack whatever you want, whenever you want, and there is a vicinity thing that we'll need to figure out later, but the main point of that though is that the enemy AI doesn't need to change. It's always been random. It always is pretty much going to be random. The difference is you know, how many targets are you going to really hit, etc. So it's going to choose those randomly, so I'm not really going to worry about changing the AI at all. It's just going to be the base enemy AI, and that's going to be the way it is. If you want to change it though, you're more than welcome to do so. Okay, so now we've got our flag set. Our information is here, so now what we need to do is we actually need to start set up for example, a CT system. In Chrono Trigger, every person has their speed. They go a certain amount of time and then they get to take their turn. It's just the same as you get in all your side view battle systems. Even in my tactical battle system, everyone has to take their turn in order. So what we need to do is we need to set up their starting CT values, and then and CT is just a word that's commonly used. I like AT for active time, but I mean it's basically just how long is it going to take till you get to take your next turn. Once you hit the top value, you get to take your turn, etc. And then whether or not the enemies are going to just take their turns, even if you're still in the process of deciding what you want to do. And so on. So we need to decide exactly how all that's going to take place. To start though, let's just go ahead and set a couple of variables to go ahead and create our base CTs. So let's just go ahead and just say reset CT, and then this will be a new method. And let's go ahead. I always like to close them off as soon as I create a new method, because then I don't accidentally forget to close it, you know, so on. Makes life a little bit easier when trying to go through debugging later. So for each of the battlers, so let's just go ahead and say def battlers, and this is going to return enemies plus actors plus neutrals plus specials. Or maybe we don't even want to return specials on that. We'll just return all of those, because specials aren't going to get to take turns. In which case what we'll do is we'll just say battlers for battler in battlers, keywords, battler dot reset CT. Okay, now that is a method that does not currently exist. Now remember that battlers in this case are events, so what we need to do is we need to modify the game event to store additional information. So we're going to go ahead and grab this up here, and we're going to add a new section down here for game event, and we're going to add a new reader, and that is going to be for CT, and then we're going to create a new method called reset CT, and then end that and close that, and then this here will set a random number between 1 and 1,000 or something, right? CT equals rand or 1,000. Although it needs to be lowercase. And that should do it. Okay, so now we've got our method. It's not going to crash. It's not going to do anything for us yet because we haven't actually applied it. So now we've got our battle drawing. We're going halfway there. So we'll see you guys back in a little